friends. That's you, your friends. My name is Sarah, and I'm here to talk to you about my project called Captain Moriah's Map of the World. Have you ever had a retail job? Oh my gosh, me too! The summer before I went to grad school, I worked at a year-round Halloween store because I love Halloween. There was a lot of traffic. Most of my job involved taking down the rave section and putting up the 4th of July section, taking down the 4th of July section and putting up the Memorial Day section. I don't think that happened. One of these sections was of steampunk costumes. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. You had layers, you had vests and corsets and pantaloons, but also somehow knives and poison and clocks and sometimes pirates. I think the sections got a little bit mixed up. I love the aesthetic of it too. It was like neutral tones, so it felt old, but it also felt otherworldly, like an approachable science fiction. Think Victorian England with an ever-present threat of eldritch terror, more mechanical than digital, steam technology with the Victorian aesthetic. Everything's very transparent, and when it's not transparent, it's scary. Steampunk has kind of been around for a long time. In a future video, I'll go more into exactly what the steampunk aesthetic is and where it came from, its history. But for now, all you need to know is that I thought this was really cool. And I wondered why it wasn't more mainstream. And I wondered why I hadn't really seen any children's media that uses steampunk. It seems like the exact right aesthetic for action-adventure. So as I was restocking these costumes, I started thinking of characters. There was a wig they had that inspired this idea for Captain Moriah's hair. This wig, in fact. Because not only did I think it was really cool looking, but I thought, well, what if she's been out in the sun so long that part of her hair, which used to be kind of naturally highlighted, has become sun-bleached? So now it's got this black and white tone to it. I started looking at all the tools and the gadgets, and I started thinking about a cartographer, a navigator, or a combination of the two who might use those tools. And the more I thought about Captain Moriah and her sun-bleached hair and how she was probably more ragtag, the more I thought, well, then there should be a character who's the opposite end of steampunk, who should be more high fashion, who should be into the corsets and the big skirts. And then, of course, there are robots. Of course, there are robots. So I thought, well, maybe there's a robot too to round out this little trio. And then I just started writing it. I started dreaming up their adventures. Captain Moriah, who always moves like she's being startled into action, always a little bit in a bad mood, who loves her friends, but she would never tell them that because she just assumes they know. Benny, the cartographer slash navigator, who's a little more high fashion, but also a little more high strung, very organized and list oriented. And then Dwee, who's reticent, who thinks maybe it's nobody's business who he is, but that makes him all the more interesting. And I started thinking about why they were mapping this world. And eventually, I figured out that Captain Moriah's Map of the World is a show about 3 people who came together after a natural disaster, completely changed the way land masses were divided up, the way that sea levels hit, and it changed the cultures within those masses. Suddenly, what everybody thought they knew no longer existed. Okay, honestly, all of that stuff I thought about down the line. Initially, I just wrote a short 4-minute script for Frederator, which is a studio that develops cartoons for places like Sony and Cartoon Network. They've done things like Bravest Warriors and Bee and Puppycat. So I put together this 4-minute Pete Ward, just some sketches with a 4-minute script after they were like, hey, submit your cartoon idea. And it was not accepted, but that's okay. So as I was saying, eventually I came up with this idea about this world and these characters and their mission, and then I came up with all of their secrets. So what am I doing here? What am I doing with Midnight Oil Collective? Well, after my 4-minute pilot short was rejected, I went back to the drawing board. I came up with a new version of the script. This one about 10 minutes long. And it was better, but it still felt like it wasn't really breathing. So I put it in a drawer. And then the pandemic hits. And I'm not just saying that. See, I specialize in a particular type of writing, which is dystopian. And after we all went into quarantine, a number of my friends reached out and were like, hey, it's so funny. This reminds me a lot of your plays. So that's not exactly the kind of stuff I wanted to be working on right now. I wanted to work on a story about hope again, not just emotional, toxic fallout, but people who are actually picking themselves up and rediscovering things, making the best of situations, and also keeping secrets from each other. So I pulled this project back out of the drawer, I took another look at it, and I said, I know what to do now. I'm gonna write the story. I'm not gonna let any time limit dictate the number of pages it is. I'm just gonna write the best story I can. Enter Midnight Oil. See, Midnight Oil Collective is about trusting those creators. Basically, I said to Midnight Oil, I believe in this project, here's why I believe in it, and I want to turn it into a pilot. Captain Moriah's Map of the World is a steampunk action-adventure comedy, the pilot of a potential TV series about Captain Moriah and her friends Benny and Wee as they attempt to create the first map of their new world. I'm really excited about this. So please subscribe to our channel and you will get to see as much of this process as I can document. I'm really confident you're going to love the outcome, but it'll be even better if you're along for the ride. So please comment below anything you want to see from this process, anybody you might want to hear from, and you will learn more and more about this project as I get further into it. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel, not just for my project, but for all of the other amazing things that my fellow creators are putting out there. Really cool and unique work. So hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. I'm Sarah. Bye.